Brought to you by Tenna Controls. Lighting kits, soundboards, and more. Tenna Controls brings your models to life. Well, hey there everybody, and welcome to a lovely Sunday afternoon here for our live broadcast of the Model Shop. This is episode 68, I believe. I'm your host, Boyd Crompton. Glad to be with you guys this late afternoon on a Sunday. We had a little football party here at the house last night, so we rescheduled the show for today. Unfortunately, my team lost, but they didn't go down without a good fight. The game was one of the best playoff games I've ever seen. It kind of went back and forth, some real miracle plays and all that, but there's always next year. But we've got a great show in store for you guys this afternoon. We're going to be working on showing you a little bit of the work that I'm doing on the Blue Thunder. That's the one you guys probably been waiting for. I've been doing a little bit of the lighting on that one, just doing a little bit of detail work on the fuselage. The model has these sort of little gun pod little assemblies on the sides, and that's where the red and green navigation lights are worked into the model. And that's where they're located on the real filming vehicle. And so it took quite a bit of work to get that worked in there. These little gun pods are these sort of small miniature little boxes that had to be attached to the outer part of the hull. So I used some miniature LEDs, and we're going to be showing you what we came up with for getting that worked out. It's going to look pretty good. I'm real happy with that. We're also going to be able to make sure that everything with the wiring and everything fits in there and doesn't interfere with the cockpit and everything. We're going to be lighting the interior of the cockpit and putting some strobe lights on the fuselage itself too, so we'll get to that here in just a little bit. I've got a nice little, like we usually do here, I've got a nice little out-of-the-box kit review again for you guys tonight from some of you car builders out there. This is a AMT called the Millennium Series 1955 Chevy Bel Air. This is in 1/25th scale. I got this kit in here a couple of days ago. I'm going to be doing a special project with this kit. I'm going to be doing a lot of modifying to it, and when we get to that here in just a little bit, I'll talk about what the plan is for that one. Probably won't get to that one right away, probably a couple of weeks away, but I think you guys might enjoy what we're going to do with that kit. We've got a new slideshow tonight. It's kind of a short one. We didn't get a lot of pictures in the last couple of weeks, but I put together what we had, and I hope you guys will enjoy that. Got some pictures sent in from quite a few of our viewers here that watch the show, so we'll check that out pretty soon. I just finished up this week. I finished up the 68 Charger by Revell, the 1/25th scale kit that we were working on, that I built up as Dennis Gilder's car. That was Arnie Cunningham's friend from the movie Christine, who drove that beautiful blue 68 Charger. You can see it spinning there behind me on the wheel. We'll put that one on the bench here up first and let you guys have a look at that. And then with that, I've got a little modeling tips thing that's going to go along with that on how to add some detail to the engine of your model, specifically adding spark plug wires onto your engine. And I've got a really simple and easy way to show you how to do that, and we'll throw that in there with it. And then let's see what else we got here. We've got oh yes, and going along with our kind of Christine theme tonight, I've got a great little video that I want to share with you guys that was done on Martin Sanchez. Martin Sanchez lives out in California, and he actually owns one of the original Christine vehicles that was used in the movie Christine. I think it's the number 2 car, and they put out a great little video talking about how he got the car and what he's doing with it now, and you get to see some beautiful shots of the car driving around and everything, and him talking about his whole experience with it. We're going to share that with you right after the reveal of the Christine Charger. So we're going to take a quick break, guys, and be right back, and we'll see you with all that and more in just a little bit. Stay tuned, everyone. All right, everybody. Well, to start things off tonight, we're going to take a look at our 68 Charger that we did as the Dennis Gilder build. Dennis was Arnie Cunningham's friend in the movie Christine, and I decided to build this one up. Had a lot of fun putting this one together like usual. Came out pretty good. We built it up from this real nice Revell 68 Charger RT kit. The car in the movie actually wasn't a Charger RT, it was just a regular Charger SE, but we went ahead and used this anyway and just kind of went with it. And I'm real happy with how it turned out. We did the metallic blue paint on it. We did our 2 coats of clear and everything. The nice part about it was is that we needed some Krager wheels, and this 68 Charger RT by Revell comes with the Krager wheels. It comes with a couple of sets of wheels. You can build the basic street version here. You can build this all-out race version with a Hemi engine, or it comes with a 440 Magnum engine with the Magnum 500 wheels here. I think it actually comes with some dog dish hubcaps you can put on it too. I'm not sure about that. I can't remember now, but so it's got a lot of options there. 2 complete different engines that you can put in. Like I said, the 4-speed transmission is separate, so it worked out perfectly for our little Dennis Gilder project here. We did the engine detail here. I'll just kind of pick this up and show it to you here. We've got our spark plug wires and our our 440 and all of our little hoses and everything. This comes with really a whole lot of detail parts here. It has the heater hoses off of the firewall. It has the all the upper and lower radiator hoses, separate coil, separate windshield washer motor and everything, separate master cylinder, and brake booster, everything. So it's really nice. It's a great little kit if you're into Chargers. It's got a separate exhaust and everything, which I like because it's a lot easier to paint versus the ones that are molded right onto the chassis. Separate shocks and everything. It has a steerable front end. So it's a great little kit. I'm going to put it up on the old spinning wheel here, and we'll tighten up on the shot here for you a little bit and spin it around a couple times so you can see it. Let's get you a little bit closer here and get this thing fired up here. Where's my switch at? There we go. So you can see it turned out pretty good. We did a little wash on the front grille there to bring out the little details. We painted all the RT emblems and everything. And the car's nice because, like I said, it has all these separate parts. The door handles and the mirror and everything are separate. The gas filler cap. So it's a great little kit. Now these tires I used off of another model. I wanted some white lettered tires, and I had some tires left over, so they had the raised detail on there, so I hand painted the white lettering on those because the tires that come with this car kit didn't have any raised white letters on them, so we just kind of did that. I don't know if they were B.F. Goodrich tires in the car in the movie, but as long as there's raised white letters there, at least we've got some semblance of that. So got a little dust all over it here already. But anyway, it came out really nice, guys, and did a little trick there on the top too to get the vinyl top. What I did is I took some Tester's Dull Coat and I sprayed at a distance away from that top, and kind of let it go on there kind of rough. And then what I did is I took my heat gun and I dried it really quick before it had a chance to settle, and I repeated that about 3 or 4 times, and then I got a nice little kind of texture on there. I didn't want it to be super rough, but I wanted it to be not smooth. And once I got that, I just went ahead and sprayed some matte black. It's not flat black, it's kind of a semi-gloss black over the top of that, and got my vinyl top look. And that's how I went about that. There's a whole bunch of different ways. It's actually technically supposed to have 2 little lines that run down on each side here to the seams of the vinyl, but I didn't do that. You could do that by taking some masking tape or whatever and laying it on there and then just spraying it like that, and it'll start to build up, and then when you peel it off you'll have a little line there, and you could do it that way. So but anyway, that's our Charger, and I'm real happy with how it turned out. Speaking of engine detail, I wanted to show you guys a little trick that I use here. I'm gonna take the Charger out of the way here real quick, and there's an easy way you can add spark plug wires to your models if you want to do that. I've got the Phantasm CUDA that I built a while back, and I never did get around to putting my spark plug wires on this, so I'm going to go ahead and do that for you guys today. What I've done here is I've got the this has the Hemi engine in it. so the spark plug wires go right in through the top. So I can still do this with this motor sitting in here. If it was the other way around and they were on the sides, it would be a little bit harder to do. You'd want to do that before you actually install the motor in the car. But being that these are on top, I can do that. So what I do is I drill little holes in the valve covers where the spark plug wires go in. You can see these kind of round spots here that they had where they go. I'll get you a little closer to this. Make sure I keep you guys in the shot here. And so we just need to add our wire. Now what I've been using for this wire, because it's perfectly in scale, is this wire wrapping stuff that I use for doing my lighting on my models that I get from HDA Model Works. And this is perfect because it's got the black sort of vinyl coating on there, and a lot of car models are supposed to have black spark plug wires, and it's the right scale. So I'm just going to cut off 8 little segments of this, and we'll get it going here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm leaving a little extra long. 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we've got these little wires here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of gather them all up here, get them all straightened out, and I'm trying to work them into a little group here. So I have them all come together at one point here, and you'll see here what I'm working towards here in just a second. I'm just making sure all the lengths are the same and they're all kind of grouped up in this little tight little group here. And being that these are wire, they have the nice thing about this is that they're, with the wire core, they'll stay where you put them. You can shape them and they'll kind of stay that way. Okay, so I've got these kind of in a little group. You can see kind of in a little tight little bundle. Now I'm going to take a little bit of CA glue without dumping it out here and make a little puddle right here. And we're just going to very carefully dip the wires in that. And I've got a little bit of kicker here handy. I'm going to spray that on this. And we're just going to let that sit for just a second. And make sure we got all the wires kind of holding together there. Just checking it out. And we're looking pretty good. Now what we're looking for here is we don't want the glue to creep up on the wires very far here, because when we spread all these out and pull them down, we don't want to, they're going to basically glue on the top of the distributor just like this. And we don't want them to be, the glue to be up too high, because when we spread the wires, we don't want the, the wires to come out of the distributor and be like really high before they make the curve. We want the curve coming off of the wires to be really close to the distributor so it looks right. So I'm going to just kind of spread them out here and see what we got. Looks like our glue didn't creep too badly here. We got a little bit more than I wanted, but we're just going to pull our wires into this kind of blossom kind of looking thing here. Just kind of see how they look. And I've got just a tiny little bit more than what I want. So what I'm going to do is take my scissors and just trim a little bit of this off. And you might lose a couple of them if that happens. So what we'll do is we're going to just dip this again. Real careful. Making sure I get all sides of it. And we'll hit it with our kicker again. I said to keep this looking right, we don't want to have our wires, too high. And I can see, usually I get this the first time, but of course on live TV it's going to take me 2 or 3 times here. one on that one side that's not cooperating, but that's all right. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to dip it in our CA again, and this time I'm going to stick it right on the distributor and just kind of let it sit there for a second. I think what I'm going to do is use a little assist tool here. I'm out of toothpicks, so I've got this little piece of wire. I'm just going to get a little bit of glue and just lightly go around the edges of this thing to make sure we got a good contact on our distributor. That looks pretty good to me. We're going to cover up the rest of the model here. I'm just going to squirt this with a tiny little bit of kicker just to give it a little help. Okay, so you can see we've got this. I'm going to get rid of this puddle here before I stick my hand in it too. That's not a good idea. Okay, so you can see we've got our wires just kind of sitting up on here now, ready to go. So now I'm going to take my little tweezers and I'm just going to start working these wires where I want them to go. I'm just going to start pulling them down here. And we got them pretty close. I mean, they're pretty flat. They don't look like they're you know, sticking up super high here. We want 4 of them to go towards the driver's side, and we want 4 on the passenger side. Just kind of figuring out which ones look better going which way here. Now you can take your time if you want to, and you can glue these down, you know, one at a time on the distributor, but this is just a real easy and quick way, and you can't really tell unless you get right up on it. I mean, like really close and eyeball it, so only the most discerning people would ever even notice that they're not individually glued down. So like I said, this is just a really quick and easy way to do this. And you can see that these wires are sort of staying where I put them now. Now I'm going to start trimming these down. Let's get you a little bit closer here so you can see what I'm actually doing. There we go. And I'm going to trim down my wires because I've got too much. And we're going to take our tweezers now and we're going to start guiding these into these holes that we made in the valve covers. And then just kind of, you know, laying them up here on the valve cover like we would normally see them. The first one in there. Let's go ahead and trim this guy down a little. Just takes a little fiddling around with it, but you'll get it. And you can see what's nice about these wires is that, like I said, they're you know, pretty much staying where I'm putting them, which is really nice. They're not trying to jump up on me or anything like that. Okay, we got that one down in there. Let's see which one. Go with this one. That one's going to have to be, you know, they're getting shorter and shorter as we're getting closer to the front here. Don't want to trim them off too short. Like I said, start off with, you know, extra long. There we go. Got that one in that hole. Looking good. Okay, this last one is going to be pretty short. All right, we got one side done. We'll work our way over to this other side now. Now these, they kind of, on your Chrysler engine or your Hemis, they kind of, they all kind of stay in a tight little group here in the front, which I'm going to kind of try to do here. And they kind of go underneath of the, the air cleaner, and then they kind of work their way to the back. So get this first one here. Get that one trimmed down. Just making a curve on it so I can get it into the valve cover hole. Just barely enough. I almost cut that one too short. I gotta get just the right bend on it here. See if I can just kind of grab it with my hand and get it in there instead. It's a tight fit back in this corner. That master cylinder is kind of in the way. Almost. It's just not quite the right angle there. There it goes. Oop, I had it in there and it popped back out. Let's try that again. Okay. Now I want to work it underneath of the valve cover, or the air cleaner. There we go, got that one. Learned my lesson there, we don't want to cut this too short. Okay, we'll get this next one. I said it's a little tedious, but you'll get it, just be patient with it. Okay, we got that one in there. Just kind of move it around where we want it now. All right, let's trim this one a little. This up underneath of that air cleaner like I talked about. Just a little bit. Okay, got that where I want it, and this last one. Grouping them together there a little. Now this particular model didn't come with a coil, but if we had a coil on there, you could just run a separate little wire off of that and bring that and just kind of glue it right in the middle of the cap there. But I'm just gonna show you guys what we got here. Let's hold this up. Without getting blurry, you can see we got our plug wires in there looking real nice. Added some extra detail onto that, so that looks good. I was kind of wanting to do that before I had put this together, but I just forgot about doing it. And so there you go, guys. There's some little extra detail that you can add real easy, just a kind of a simple way to do it. Like I said, you could do this several different ways. There's actually some scale distributor kits that are out there for the different engines, you know, different model kits. So you can find, you know, spark plug wire, the actual distributor and the spark plug wire out of resin and stuff like that. So if you look around, you can find that they have these little super detail, but that's just a simple, real easy way to do that, and that'll work on just about any model car engine if you want to give that a try. Okay guys, time to take a quick break and we'll come back for our next segment. See you then. Okay guys, well I hope you enjoyed our little segment there with the reveal of the Dennis Gilder Charger and a little tip on doing the spark plug wires on your scale model car engines, and I hope that helped you out. Well, while we're on the subject of Christine with the Dennis Gilder Charger, I wanted to share a really cool little video that I found on YouTube. Marty Sanchez, who was actually somebody who I talked to quite a few years ago when I was restoring my own Christine. He actually owns one of the original cars from the film. There were only two surviving cars that were actually used in the movie, and he owns one of them. And they put out a great video talking about the car and talking about how he came to get the car and what he did to restore it and everything. So I thought I'd share that with you guys tonight. And Marty's a really, really cool guy, and there's nobody that I can think of that deserves to own a Christine replica more than Marty does. He's a really nice guy, and he's really a huge Christine fan, and he did just a ton of work to bring the car back. People thought that the car was cherry after they were finished with the movie, but even the cars that they used for the hero cars after the film was over needed quite a bit of work to be brought back. So let's enjoy the video, guys, and we'll be back after that, and we'll be taking a look at the progress I'm making on the Blue Thunder. Enjoy the video, everybody.
So far we've shown you hero cars. Today I'm going to show you one of the most famous villain cars, a red and white Plymouth Fury from the movie Christine. This is only one of two screen-used Christines still in existence. Wish me luck.
I didn't want a 57 Chevy. I wanted a 50s car. You know, I was that kid that everyone picked on. Well, the 57 and the 58 Plymouth was disliked by a lot of people because the Chevy was the ruler of the road. My first car I found was a 69 Pontiac convertible. My parents were upset that I dragged this thing home. I was 14 and a half, and I spent hours and hours and hours restoring this car. It's ultimately ruined by some jocks from school who didn't like me. And my auto shop teacher told me, you should read this book. It is so you. They nicknamed that car Christine. So I read the book, and it was a 4-door Plymouth. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have a 2-door? So at the time I was looking for a 2-door hardtop, Eddie Volker was looking for John Carpenter to find all the Christines. Everywhere they could find through ads, they were buying up every single car. So naturally, a 16-year-old kid, good luck. So Al Newman invited me to his shop. And he's, oh, well, we do movie cars, blah, blah, blah. And I want Christine. So he goes, well, let me make some calls. This car comes home on a flatbed truck on a Saturday morning, and it was the biggest pile of broken parts that you've ever seen. And my dad was just like, you can't even drive this car. What did you do? And I'm like, well, I'll take care of her. Don't worry about it. And I called back Al, and he just kind of chuckled and said, well, you wanted Christine, you got her. So he took me over to Bill and Ed's in Chino, California, and he said, have at it. There's about 22, 23 wrecks back there of Christine. $20 a carload. Go ahead, take whatever you want. I wanted the car to be functional, and that's probably something I got from my dad. The years I spent putting her together, staying up really late. I mean, I was spending nights and nights and nights working on this car, listening to the 50s music, hoping one day she'll be finished. So it's almost like living the movie. She's like Christine of all of her sacrificed sisters, almost kind of like, if there was demons in those cars, guess what? They're all in here now.
So before we set off, Martin did give me a warning that Christine tends to have a bit of an attitude with people. So she could kick me out of the car at any moment. Clutch in, first gear, a little bit of a grind, not too bad. Brake out. Whoa, sounds good. Slowly out with the clutch and on. Smooth sailing. It's quite an honor to drive Christine right now because Martin has told me that he's only letting 3 people drive this car. It's a cruiser. It has the classic tail fins from the 50s. Do you really want to go fast? No, I don't want to go fast. There's so many little details in this car that just speaks to the 50s. The skinny steering wheel, the bench seat, and just the perfect chrome just speckled throughout the interior of this car.
I have a collection of props from actual people that may have worked on the film. I was given a jacket that says Christine on it. It was the jackets they wore on the set. One guy sent me a slate and he said, don't mess up the chalk because that's the way I got it. Many of the screen-used parts that were damaged on the car I've kept, like the front V emblem was destroyed. Well, I had a fan build me a shadow box out of this part. I've been able to meet some of the stars that were in the movie, and they've all signed the glove box of the car. Keith Gordon, Alexander Paula, John Carpenter himself. I mean, wow, he had time for me. That's pretty cool.
Martin's told me that Christine likes to play tricks on people. Anytime someone's around it, something will happen, you know, that things will fall over, doors will unlock. And for being a villain, for being a mean, vicious killer of a car, she's super smooth, soft.
Clutch her again. Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
Am I in?
Go ahead. Get the gas. Get the clutch. There you go.
Oh.
Well, she's being mean. Go up.
There we go, now it's in.
Ever since my youngest was talking, he never referred to the car as a car. He called her Christine. And I hope to pass it along to him because these cars are gone. My kids' kids can say, wow, this was great-grandfather's car from the movie Christine, and she'll live on. My collector car editor where I work tells me she's $1 million car. And if I was offered $1 million, I'd probably say no.
Instead of getting power and speed, you're rewarded with smooth ride, a great sound, and just a great experience. Now, how did everyone drive in the 50s? Arm out the window. Why? Because it's cool.
It's like my history is in this car, my life. My first dates were in this car. Some of my best friends have ridden in this car that are gone. My dad, who I loved very much, who hated the car when I got it, but was so proud. Yeah, my son built this car, but they didn't see the side of him going, when he doesn't know it, I'm gonna tow it back to the junkyard, you know? And my mom, who, devout Catholic, who would never ride in the car, but I finally did get her in the car one time and said, see, Mom, Christine likes you. And then she stalls at the light and I had to call AAA. It's like, she's just playing with you, Mom. So a lot of my life is in this car. And I do have to put seatbelts in her now, although Christine is going, no, they were an option. I don't need them. But I have little ones now, so, you know, yes, you're getting seatbelts.
Thanks for watching.
Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. Got it. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. That was a pretty cool tribute to Christine. And like I said, Martin Sanchez is a really nice guy. I hope he's still doing well out there. I'm not sure how long ago they shot that video, but he certainly deserves to own the car. I just wanted to share with you guys, too, one of the little things I still have left over from when I owned Christine. I collected a lot of memorabilia to go with the car, and this is one of the things that I kept. You may have seen this in the little shot they showed there when he was showing some of the memorabilia that he got from the movie crew and everything. And this is an original, what they called a press kit, which came out when the movie was originally released. These were only available to certain people. They gave them out when they were trying to distribute the film, you know, get people interested in it. And it's pretty cool because it has some original photos. It has an original, if I can kind of get this out and show it to you, Christine bumper sticker, and it has a copy of the manuscript for the film, which has all been signed by the by John Carpenter and Richard Kobritz and all them who produced and directed the movie. None of the signatures from the cast, but it's still pretty cool. There's a bunch of really neat stuff in here. And then there's a it says Columbia Pictures Christine here on this folder. I'll just kind of show you what's in here real quick. I know we got some Christine fans out there. These are some original, really nice black and white photos from the movie that they used in the lobby at some of the premiere showings. Here you can see the shot when Arnie finds out Christine's been damaged. And of course the Moochie Welch death scene when he's getting chased down by Christine, being attacked by Buddy Repperton. It's when he finds Christine and talks to the old man about buying her. And Dennis and Leigh. Christine coming down the assembly line. And John Carpenter himself there on the set. And, whoops, kind of a rare photo that you never really saw before of Christine with her grill kind of backlit for a publicity shot there. Kind of cool. And Arnie and Leigh at the drive-in. And Christine taking out Buddy's Camaro. And then, of course, the scene I hated the most in the entire movie when they were trashing it. Because when I was restoring the car, I was like, wow, those parts are so hard to find. I can't believe they're just demolishing that stuff. But anyways, I thought you guys would think that was pretty cool to see that. And so, yep. The only thing that I have left from the car and the original license plates that I had on it are the only thing I have left. And I believe that the car that I built and restored it somewhere in Australia now. Somebody bought it and shipped it over there. So if you see a Christine running around over there, it's probably my car. If you happen to see it, take a picture of it for me. I'd like to see that. Okay, guys, time for another quick break, and then we're going to come right back, and we're going to head over and check and see what we're doing with the Blue Thunder. See you right after that. Okay, back with you guys again. Well, we're going to take a look at what we've been doing on the Blue Thunder, a little bit of progress doing some of the lighting on it. I got a little picture I want to show to you guys first that I took when I first started working on this thing. These are this is one of the parts here that's so I guess they're gun pods or something like that on the sides of the ship, right below the air intakes that are on each side of the fuselage, and that's where we saw these little it had a red and a green navigational light on each side, and so this is what I came up with for the lighting. I worked a little 3mm green and red LED in there. As you can see, I've got it mounted. I had to take my Dremel tool there, and you can see I opened up that little slot where the LED is actually sitting down in there, a little drop of CA glue to hold it in place, and then I kind of took my Dremel tool and hogged out that mounting tab there just a little bit. Made a little trench in that so I could pass the wires through and on into the sides of the, where it attaches to the fuselage. Now, you can't see it in the shot right there, but right parallel with the tip of the bulb there is where on the side of that part is where the actual light source will be. So I drilled a little hole right there, and I'll just be putting a little piece of fiber optic into that, and it'll actually touch the LED, and it'll light up and give us a really nice small pinpoint of light. I didn't want to run a fiber optic all the way through the whole thing and make all those bends. I just don't trust fiber optic with a lot of bends in it and stuff. I'm worried that it'll snap or break over time because it's really brittle stuff. So I try to keep it really simple and really short and straight, and it usually works out pretty good. So let's go to the bench now, and I'll talk about what we've been doing on the actual and show you the part and how it's looking on the model. Okay, as you can see there, I have the little I think there's a little gun pod assemblies here. I've got these all glued together now, and I've got them puttied and light blocked, and I've got one of them mounted on the port side here of the Blue Thunder, and I'm just going to get you a little bit closer here to it so you can see it. That is our red navigational light on the port side here, and what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be using some fiber optic. I've got a little piece of it right here. This one's probably going to be too long, but this is fairly thick fiber optic, and this will get pushed in here with the tip of it mushroomed, over like I usually do. This one's going to be too long, but you can see what we're going to get there is a nice little pinpoint of light. There's a little kind of a nub that sticks up on this part there that you can see, and the way they had this was they had kind of that one, and they had another one right next to it that stuck out a little bit further. So I just shaved the one a little bit further out off, and this fiber optic will get glued in here and lay parallel to this, kind of like something like that. If you can see that, of course, quite a bit further in. It'll be just about, a little bit taller than this little nub that's on here, just just barely. And I'll glue that all in place and let it dry, and then I'm going to paint everything. When we paint this model blue, we're going to paint everything here except the tip, and that's going to give the exact same look as the original sort of piece that was on there to begin with, and we'll have our little pinpoint of light there, coming out, and it'll look good from all angles with this. If you take that little trick and you use your lighter and you heat the tip of that fiber optic and kind of let it mushroom over a little bit, so it's going to look really good. So that's working out really good here for that. What I did here on the fuselage here is I drilled out all these holes in the spine. When I looked at the pictures, you could see that was opened up there, and you could see through it. So we did that. But just kind of talking about the plan here, our board's going to get, let me back you up just a little bit here. I guess you guys couldn't even see that. You can see our spine here has been opened up. If I get this close enough for you here, our little kind of webbing there. We did that on both sides. And then the plan's going to be is our Tenna Controls aircraft board is going to be mounted right in this area right here. It's going to fit in here just perfect. We need to have a little bit of room up in here for the rotor assembly and everything. But I've kind of been test fitting everything together. The cockpit's all going to fit in here really good and everything. I'm going to bring my mounting point in here through the bottom right in about this area right here. And we're going to have this sort of, a little bit of a kind of an in-flight, just a little bit tilted display. I'm still looking around for pilot figures. Apparently the monogram kit actually comes with 2 crew figures, but this kit does not. I haven't found exactly what I'm looking for yet, but I'm going to keep looking, because the Roy Scheider figure that I'm looking for, or a figure similar to that in this 132 scale, he has to have a pilot helmet on, but he can't have a full like uniform. He has to be kind of he had almost like civilian clothes with just the pilot helmet. So I'll keep looking. I'm sure there's something out there that's really close, and we might have to do a little bit of modifying or something. But hopefully we can get our pilot figure here rounded up. Like I said, I'm only going to put the one figure in there because I'm building this kind of as it looked at, kind of towards the end of the movie when he was just flying it by himself. But our cockpit's going to fit in here really good. I've got my lighting ideas all worked out here for bringing my wiring up through the bottom and getting our little computer monitor screens lit. I don't think I'm going to light anything up here on the flight console at all. It's just so tiny. I might try to put a couple little indicator lights in there somewhere if I can, but the main thing I wanted to do is get those computer screens lit, and then we're going to detail paint all of the interior. I want to thank, I'm trying to remember his name now. I think it was Bill Tilley. Bill posted a really nice thread over on the Model Shop Google page with some really good high-resolution detailed photos of the Blue Thunder, which I had some pretty good looks of the outside of the bird from just taking screen grabs from the movie, but there's some really nice interior detail shots which show you the colors that you need to use and everything. There's actually some kind of like pale like military green colors and some grays and stuff on the walls, and the padding that's in there, that kind of textured padding that's on the wall and everything, that's a certain color. The cushions on the seats are a certain color, little things like that. So that's really helpful, and I'm going to try to get really close to that if I can. So there you go, guys. Not a whole lot done on the Blue Thunder this week. I've been working on some of my quite a bit of my commission work to keep up with it, but got a little bit done on it. And this work right here, believe it or not, was quite a bit here to get these little boxes here all put together and get them all sealed. They didn't fit very good to begin with. They had quite bad seams around the edges of them, so it took quite a bit of putty work and some sealing up and some light blocking and everything to get that squared away. So they're not going to be black. They're going to get painted, the same. I'm going to be mixing up my color for the Blue Thunder. I'm getting a pretty good idea of the color it should be, looking at the pictures and everything. And we'll just go ahead and paint all this before we put the two halves of the fuselage together here. We'll do all of our engine detail painting and everything. I'm going to use some all-clad chrome on the turbine exhaust and all that. So things are looking really good. And of course we got the green one for this side, and we'll be doing the same exact thing that we showed you here, a little bit of fiber optics. And that's going to work out really nice. It's going to look nice and in scale. We're going to put one flashing beacon down here on the belly, and then I'm thinking about putting a small little one here up on the top. I think that's what this is supposed to be, up on the top of this tail fin here. So I'll shave that little piece off, and I'm going to put a really small fiber optic one in there. I think if I hog this out just enough, I can fit a one of my really tiny LEDs in there, and just a short piece of fiber optic coming up out of there, and that'll give us our kind of our strobe light that we have on the back. Because we have, as you remember, on the antenna controls board, we had two different strobing effects. We had the one that just kind of flashes on and off, and we have the other one that does a double flash. So I'm not quite sure which one I want to do yet, whether I want the double flash on the bottom and the single up on the top, but we'll figure that out. I'm going to go back and look at the movie and watch it flying around in some of the night shots and see if I can pick up anything on that. If I can't really see anything, I'm just going to kind of do my own thing. But so there you go, guys. That's some more of the Blue Thunder. We're going to take our time building this one. It's not going to be done by next week. I'm just going to take my time on this because I really want to make this nice, and it's going to be a little bit complicated, like I said, with all the wiring and everything. And I'm still looking for a pilot figure and all that. We can always find that at the last minute, because I'll easily be able to put them in there, because I can wait and do the, put the canopy on at the very last minute, and I should be able to still squeeze the figure in there and get them inside, and then put the canopy down over it. So not a super hurry for the figure yet, but we're definitely looking. So okay, guys, back for the next segment. We've got another out of the box kit review for you guys tonight of the AMT Millennium Edition 1955 Chevy Bel Air in 1/25 scale. I'm going to be doing a special project with that kit, so I thought I'd give you guys a look at the kit itself before I start doing what I'm going to be doing with it. So we'll see you with that in just a couple seconds, everybody. Be right back. Okay, everybody, here we are with yet another exclusive Model Shop out-of-the-box kit review for you guys tonight. This is a real nice kit. This is a AMT Millennium Edition. This came out in 2000, I guess. The 1/25th scale 1955 Chevy Bel Air. I picked out this kit specifically because I'm going to be doing a special project with this. I needed the what they call the two-door post version, which you can see it has a little center post here versus the hard top version of a Bel Air, which had no posts, and this whole thing was open here. They call it a coupe. I'm actually going to be building the 1955 Chevy rat rod that was shown in the movie Two-Lane Blacktop, and that car has been heavily modified. If you guys don't know, a little bit of trivia for you, that same exact car was used in the film American Graffiti, driven by Harrison Ford, Bob Falfa. They repainted it black and kind of cleaned it up a little bit and changed the wheels on it, but they were the same car. In the film Two-Lane Blacktop, it's seen in primer with some different type of rims. You know, it was a story about these two guys that were driving around the country, drag racing for a living and street racing and trying to make money. And there's also a beautiful 1970 GTO that they feature in the film. But the car, like I said, was heavily modified. It has a flip-open front end, fiberglass front end. The rear wheel wells have been, you know, opened up substantially with huge tires on it. Some kind of wheel lip moldings have been added, fender extensions. No chrome trim on the side. All that's been shaved off, and no front bumper. And of course, totally different wheels. A heavily modified chassis up front with coil-over springs and a straight axle front suspension instead of the control arms like we see on the stock Chevy. So we got a lot of work to do on this. So I'm going to be actually, you know, cutting the body apart here. I've got to take and remove the front clip, the two front fenders, and then glue those to the hood so that we can make an entire separate assembly that'll flip open. I also want to try to do that on the deck lid, get the deck lid opened up, and so we can see some of the detail on the back end of the car. In the film, they kept all their spare parts and their extra racing tires in there and everything. It had a basic 4-point roll cage. It didn't have much of an interior. I think I found some bucket seats that are going to look really close to the ones that they had in the car. There was just these sort of small racing fiberglass seats. I have a steering wheel that I found that's going to work to match the one they had. I've been gathering up parts slow but sure. I got some resin aftermarket wheels. They were a special rim called a Daisy rim. I think they were similar to a torque thrust wheel, but they were had more like sort of squared off edges, and we needed a narrow and a deep, so I got those on the way for this. But let's go ahead and take a look at this kit, and we'll just kind of get everything out of the way. First, we'll take a look at the body here. It comes in this nice little bag with a kind of a cardboard protector thing around it. I already had a look at this earlier, but we'll pop the chassis out of there. And you can see it's a nice mold. It's got, you know, a little bit of swirling in it, but nothing really bad, but not a lot of flash or anything like that. It looks to be, you know, really accurate, nice and clean. Like I said, we got to do a little bit of modifying in this. We're going to shave part of this little area down here, and I'm going to be cutting the front fenders off of it right on the body line here, and we want to come up around the top, and we want to leave the, you know, the basic part of the firewall intact here, and we're going to remove the inner fenders. The car on the film didn't have them. You could see straight through the wheel and right into the engine. You know, like I said, it was just a fiberglass flip-up shell that they had on the front with the headlights and the grille, no front bumper. The back here, we want to open up our deck lid. So I was talking to my good friend Chris Cotel, who had a video he had done on his YouTube channel a while back where he was doing sort of a hot rod police car project, and he had this really interesting technique where he used some fishing line and basically sawed his way through this, and what it did, it gave it a really nice clean cut. And the nice part about it was that he didn't lose a lot of material. In other words, you're cutting a really thin line here, and so you won't have a big gap in between the you know, in between what we cut apart here, and you know, you don't lose a lot of material making the cut. So we'll have kind of a, you know, a correct looking gap in between the lid and the fenders when we, or the quarter panels when we get, you know, done cutting it open. So hopefully I'll get that worked out. First time I've ever tried it, so I hope I don't screw it up, but we'll see how it goes. Going to use that same method here up on the front end. So there's a look at the body. We'll pull some of these chrome pieces out here for you. Oh, they actually do give you some kind of neat little hot rod parts here. I didn't know that. I thought this was just a stock kit, but let's check this out here. Might be able to actually use some of this stuff here, because one of the other things I'm looking for is I need to get a big block Chevy engine in 1/25th scale with a dual quad, you know, the high-rise tunnel ram. They've got these sort of side dump headers here, which they don't look exactly what I'm looking for, but I might be able to use part of them. The headers were sort of a you know, a fender dump type header, but they were really spaghettied in there. They talked in the movie about how they made them by hand, so I might have to make those out of solder or something. Chris gave me that idea too, so we might be able to do that, but we'll come up with something. Here we got the front bumper. You can see we got the stock hubcaps there. Strange that they would only have 3 hubcaps on that sprue, and then the fourth one is all by itself on this other chrome sprue here, but that's how they did it. And you can see here we've got some more stuff. We've got the intake manifold, the parking lights, the chrome trim that goes around the taillights there, the headlight buckets, carburetor, distributor, valve covers. This has a 265 cubic inch small block Chevy V8 that it comes with an automatic transmission. Here's the grille, and got an extra bumper here for some reason. I don't know what that's for, but it looks to be kind of skinnier or smaller or something. That might be a custom bumper or something like that. But you can see we've got the bumpers there and everything. A lot of this stuff we won't be using, just some of the chrome detail parts for the body, and that'll be about it. I didn't mention also too that I'm going to have to be, you can see it has these moldings here. We're going to be sanding these down and removing them. The car in the film didn't have any of that on it, so that's no problem. We can sand that down. Let's check out the main bag full of parts here. I may be using part of the interior bucket, but not all of it, because the car didn't have any interior door panels in the film. It just had these like kind of race, you know, flat panels in there, and also the side glass on the front doors. They modified those so they were sort of sliding type windows that slid from the side, so I'm going to be doing that. I can't recall if this little post here for the wing window is there or not. I think that's been removed, so we're just going to use some of our clear sheet styrene here and make our, you know, the way the windows looked on the film. Here we can see we got some just engine and chassis parts here. Here's the hood, which is nice. They already kind of, this was made to be a hot rod at some point here. They've got this kind of prescribed on the bottom side here, because we do have to open that up. I'm going to be making my own. It sort of had a reverse type hood scoop on it, made a like light gauge sheet metal. We're going to be cutting that open and making our own hood scoop for it. Then we have the dash, seat back. We won't be using any part of the seats. They had no back seat in the car in the movie. Front suspension parts. License plates. Wheel backing. This has got, I think this is some kind of a hood scoop that you can put on it, but quite a bit different than the one I'm going to need. I'll be making that myself. Like I said, we got the radiator here. Small block Chevy. Steering wheel. Belts. Intake manifold. Battery. Exhaust manifolds. Here we got the interior bucket. Like I said, I probably won't be using anything of this except maybe the floor pan, and that's about it. So we got to do a lot of modifying, and it's the reason I decided to build this kit or build this car, this particular project, is because a lot has to be modified to make it look accurate, and I thought it would be you know, kind of challenging. And it's another movie car that I'm interested in. They don't actually make a kit of it, so I haven't seen. I've been looking around on the internet, and I haven't seen anybody that's actually built a scale model of this. I've seen a couple of 1/18 die-cast cars that have been modified, but I haven't actually seen a model build of this car. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to try it. It's going to be pretty challenging to try to get it accurate, but here we got our glass. I'm just going to go ahead and leave this in here, but you can see we got the front windshield, the back glass, and the side quarter panel windows. I will be using all this stuff, the headlight lenses. I didn't see any red taillight lenses in here, so, oh, yep, there they are. That's good. We got our little red taillight lenses, which is nice. Two different ones, whether you want a custom or a stock looking one. Now they give you a couple of different tires here. I'll bring them out and show them to you. They've got the street stockers, like the original ones that came on the car, these super skinny ones. And then they give you two sort of, you know, wide track Goodyear. Trying to read what size these are. It doesn't really say, just Polyglass GT. They're L60s. So, you know, they're a little bit wider. And then you get these other two here that are I guess would go along with those that are really small and, you know, like for sort of a street machine sort of look. So you get 8 tires all together, which is kind of nice. And then here I don't know if I showed you these. You do get some sort of aftermarket rims. They look like center lines with a Chevy bolt pattern. You know, they're not chrome, but you could always all-clad those or whatever. So again, some of this stuff that we're not going to use, we can add it to the part stash for some other little project that comes up later on that we need center lines for. So I always like these kits that give you extra goodies. And I think that's everything. I don't want to miss everything in these plastic bags, but we're just going to go ahead and put everything back in here. And so there's a look at the Millennium Edition 1955 Bel Air. Now, this kit is really accurate if you wanted to build just a stock, you know, like factory original Bel Air. And it's really detailed. It has a lot of extra goodies like we showed you there. So you could build it that way, or they give you some parts here to build this up as a sort of a, you know, a gasser. I'm going to see here. I think there were a couple little decals, but not much, guys. Probably just a couple of license plates. Yeah, that's what we get here. And I'll probably use a couple of these because they might not be the exact number, but the car in the movie did have California plates, and they were sort of a black background, I believe. So we'll be able to use those. So there's some look at that, and we'll just check out the instruction sheet here just real quick while we're at it. And it's real straightforward, like most car kits. If I can find the beginning of it here. Yep, you start out with the engine. Let me get you backed up here a little bit, if I can. Well, it's as far back as we go. You start off with the engine here. You know, you've got your sort of street stock 265 cubic inch, or you can soup it up a little bit here. They give you a chrome air cleaner, a 4-barrel carburetor. I believe they have the original single Stromberg on there on the 265 stocker. Then you got the headers. You can come over here and you got your wheel options here that we talked about with your wheels and tires. Real straightforward. The chassis detail on this is the leaf springs and the rear axle are already assembled. You just have the upper and lower halves of the axle itself that connect to the leaf springs. You glue that together and drop it down in with the shocks. Now, one thing I didn't point out here is I noticed on the bottom of the chassis, and I guess I'll get that part back out and show you that the muffler detail and the exhaust tubing is molded into the chassis, which I really hate it when they do that. I wish they'd give you a separate part. It makes it a lot harder to paint, but it also doesn't look as nice. And it's going to cause me a problem because we've got to put a dual exhaust on there, so I'm going to have to take and shave with my grinder and shave all that off. But I'll do it. But here you got your interior bucket going together, your dash and everything. You've got some ride height selections you can do on the front spindles, so you can lower or raise the front end a little bit if you want to. But we're going to be using a straight axle front end on this, so we're not going to be using any of the stock front suspension on this kit. Here you got some grille detail, the glass going in, interior bucket going on, and just putting on your trim. Here they talk about that hood scoop that comes with the kit, license plates, and finally just the rear bumper and taillights and license plate bracket. They've got some paint callouts here, which are original GM colors. You can do the nice two-tone paint job like the 55 had. So there's the instruction sheet. I'll just show you this chassis here real quick and show you what I was talking about. You can see that they have this muffler and tubing here, cast right in. Now, I'll be able to grind this part off here pretty easy because it's just on the top, but the muffler, you can see it's all the way through the chassis, so I'm going to have to grind that down and then fill this all in and try to, kind of blend that all in, and then hopefully hide some of that with my my other two mufflers that are going to come in. The car had like two mufflers underneath here and then just these sort of little side dump exhausts on it. So I'll get that figured out when we get to it. But there we go, guys. It'll be a little while before I start on this one because I'm going to be gathering. It's going to take me a while to gather everything I need. Like I said, I've got to find a big block Chevrolet engine in 1/25th scale with a dual quad tunnel ram high rise. I got to find a 4-speed transmission. I've got the tires, and like I said, I've got the resin wheels coming. I've got another old kit here I'm going to use for the straight axle front end, so I've got some of that. I'll have to make the headers, and I'm going to have to do all this modifying on the body, so and a lot of modifying and scratch building to make the interior as well. But and I'm looking forward to this one. This is a lot of fun. So something different. Okay, guys, that's a wrap for this one. We're going to come back now, and we're going to head on over to the quick little slideshow that I put together. Just a few pictures came in this week, so I'll share those with you, and then we're going to come back after that for our Q&A, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the out-of-the-box review of the AMT Millennium Series 1955 Chevy Bel Air in 1/25th scale. Be right back in a second, everyone. Okay, everybody, back with you again. I hope you've enjoyed everything we've shared with you so far tonight. Time now for our little slideshow I put together. It's a little bit shorter one this week. We didn't get that many pictures in the last couple of weeks, so keep knocking those out, guys. Keep sending them to us. I know you guys are busy building to try to keep up with all of it, so we appreciate every single one of them. There's some really nice models to show you tonight. Enjoy the slideshow, and then we're going to come back for the wrap tonight and go to our Q&A and our shout-outs, everybody. Be right back after that. Well, how about those, everybody? Let's have a big round of applause. You guys did a great job on the models like usual, and we thank you so much for sharing them with us here on the show. We really appreciate that, and that's become a fan favorite here on the show. Okay, guys, time to head over now to the Q&A. It's getting a little bit long in the show. Trying to keep the show around an hour. I know it starts getting kind of long for some of the people that are staying up late to watch it, so we're going to be kind of, in the forthcoming weeks, kind of trimming back a little bit and trying to condense things in a little bit better. But let's go over and see who's with us tonight and see what you guys are talking about. Let's scroll up to the top here. Okay, starting off, we've got Caesars with us tonight. John Crow, Michael Kovach, John Petrie, Christopher Baxley, Mike Scarola's here, Jim Clark, Leona Timber Company. Let's see. SF Modeler, nice to see you here, DeWitt. I was wondering if my note keeper was going to make it tonight. I know we changed up the schedule on you. I'm glad you could make it, DeWitt. John Petrie, Aussie Trekkie, Shannon Freeman, Andrew Drabble, Heath Tompkins. We showed Heath's beautiful Nissan Skyline model. You got the top of the show on that one, Heath. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. Randy Gagliano, Gary M, Draw Dog, George Volkowski. All right, Chris Cortello's with us tonight. Nice to see you, Chris. I got a nice email from Chris this week saying that he had made it home from the hospital and he was doing well, so I'm really, really glad to hear that, and I'm sure you guys enjoyed having Chris back in the fold with us tonight. I hope you're not making him laugh too hard. He's probably a little sore. Mark Shue is here with us. Lee Chambers, B. Tilley, and Bill, thanks again for posting those high-resolution pictures of the Blue Thunder. We really appreciate that. I'm definitely making good use of them. Rick O'Connor's with us tonight. Triskelion, that's our good friend Adam. Nice to see you, Adam. Rocket Boy 1969. James Schulenberg's here with us. Andrew Drabble. Federation Shipyard, that's Dennis. Eric Hawkins is here tonight. Nice to see you, Eric. Rick O'Connor. Mark Shue. Calvin Sweets here with us tonight, 2000 SPQR. Calvin's doing a fantastic job building that scratch-built Death Star. Make sure you guys check that out. He's been posting that over at the Google page and putting up some updates on his YouTube channel. Came out really nice. Brian Knowles is here tonight. Nice to see you, Brian. John Petrie's hanging in there late. Dan Harris, Alpha Trion 92. Gary M. Chris Farrell. Big Stats. And James Kirk. James, we featured one of your models here tonight, too. I hope you enjoyed seeing that. And Scott Hall is with us here tonight, too. So, yeah, we got a nice little crowd. And we were talking a little bit before we kicked off the show tonight, guys, in the kind of the pre-show chat session. And some other people just popping in there. David Cox. Nice to see you, David. I'm going to put it up on the Google page this week. If you guys would rather, if it's better for everybody to see the show on Sunday afternoon, like at 6 o'clock Central Time, I could do it. I couldn't really do it any earlier than that because I have stuff to do during the day on Sundays, but 6 o'clock I could probably do that. So we'll throw that up there, and if we get a majority of people that would rather see the show on Sundays instead of Saturday nights, we can definitely switch the schedule out and do that going forward, guys. So I'll throw that up there on the Google page this week, and make sure if you're interested, stop by and throw in your 2 cents if you'd like to see the show changed as far as the schedule goes. I'm starting to see we got Galaxy Stranger 01, SCO Mike. And, yeah, so if you guys if you guys have any questions about anything specific that we showed you tonight, or about things we've showed in the past, or just modeling questions in general, fire away, guys. Either I'll help you out here if I can, or somebody here on the chat session will definitely have an answer for you. I thought I saw one go by, something about the Yamato. Like I said, guys, I apologize if I miss them. They go by so darn fast. Randy Gagliano is asking, did I miss the Yamato builder? When are you going to build it, Boyd? That's just the old empty box up there, Randy. I built that. I've actually built two of those. Back on my TrekWorks channel, you got to go to the videos tab there and click on the past videos and scroll back a little ways. Probably about a year and a half worth. I got like, I guess, close to 500 videos on there now, so it might take you a little time. But the Yamato is, there's two different builds there. There's the first one I did, and then the second one I did, which I changed it up a little bit. And you can see those builds on there. They both came out really nice. I just decided to keep the box because it's a nice display, and believe it or not, I've seen those, just the boxes alone of those things on people are selling them for like $50 on YouTube. I'd never pay $50 for an empty box, but I figured I'd keep it anyway just to have it in the background because it's a pretty cool model kit and it's got some nice box art on it. But you're not the first one to ask about that, Randy. But the videos are up on there and they show the whole build on both of them from start to finish. Looks like a lot of you are going for the Sunday thing. So, like I said, I'll put it up on the page. Probably see it there maybe later tonight, and we'll see what we get. If we get quite a few people that decide they want to go ahead and do the Sunday deal, we'll be more than happy to change it up. Whatever works out better for you guys. Scott says, sorry about my team losing last night. Well, that's the break, Scott. We still had a great season. That's the way I look at it. I was really hyped up and really nervous during the game, and but once it was over, it kind of all went away. I'm a big basketball fan, too, and we've still got our San Antonio Spurs here, and they're looking like they probably have a better shot to go all the way than actually the Packers did. So we still got that to look forward to. But there's always next year. I think injuries killed us this year. We were just too beat up at the end of the year. You know, you've got to have everything go just right, and we were missing a lot of people, and we lost even more people during the game. So hopefully if we get everybody back next year and everybody healthy, I think as long as we got Aaron Rodgers, I think we got a shot. SCO Mike says he just picked up the monogram version of the Blue Thunder, and he says his seems to fit together pretty good, but he's not sure about the decals. The glass was crystal clear. I'm glad you got a good kit, Mike. I had to polish out the glass on mine. It was all fogged out, but it came out. I used a little bit of polishing compound, and I got it crystal clear now, so it's going to work out fine. The only difference that I can tell between the two kits is that the Kitech kit doesn't come with any figures, which kind of sucks, because those figures are sort of specific. Like I said, I've been looking around for these pilot figures, and it's hard to find a pilot that has a helmet but is kind of wearing civilian clothes, like Roy Scheider was at the end of the movie when he was flying it. But I'll come up with something as close as I can get. It might not be exact, but so we'll see. Clint Llewellyn's asking, when you do your model cars, how do you keep the car from wobbling when you add the wheels? Clint, I showed that a couple times here. The first thing that's really important is that you've got to make sure when you put your tires and wheels on, you set the model down onto a, I use this piece of tile here that you always see in my videos. I like it because it's fireproof, and I can get glue and crap all over it, and I can scrape it right off and clean it right back up, and it's perfectly true and flat. And so when I build a car model, before the wheels and everything, before the glue sets up, it's important you make sure your chassis is square first. You got to make sure the frame is straight, and you got to make sure all your control arms and your springs and everything are on the model straight. Otherwise, it won't matter. If you put your wheels on straight, if the chassis is bowed or the springs are not right or something, the car is going to sit kind of crooked. But once you get all that, and then you glue the wheels and tires on, you want to set it down on a nice flat surface that is perfectly flat, and stand back and look at the model and make sure the tires aren't cocked a little bit. Sometimes you're getting the metal axles and they go into the hubs, and they there's no way to get them crooked, but a lot of the kits have just the plastic pegs or whatever. So it's really important that before the glue dries, that you stand back and look at it and make sure everything's all what we call squared up. The tires are not only up and down from the front or rear looking at it, straight, but that they're from above, like not bowed in or bowed out either, towed in or towed out. So you get that all, nice and straight, and then let it sit like overnight on a nice flat surface like that, and it should be fine after that. Hope that helps you out. Christopher Baxley is asking about how do you use purple power on the model. Well, Chris, you just basically, the parts that you want the paint to come off, you just get yourself a little container and drop those parts down in that purple power, make sure they're completely submerged, and let them sit. Maybe about, depending on what brand you use, there's stronger ones than other ones, but usually 24 to 48 hours, and the paint should be pretty well lifted off, or what's not already off. You can take a little scrub brush, like an old toothbrush or a little bristle brush. You don't want to use a wire one, like a metal one, just a plastic one, nylon one, and just gently, scrub the rest of it off of there, and it'll all come off. It will leave like just a very slightly, not pitted, but just slightly rough surface on the plastic, but nothing that another, repriming it again and then sanding it with some 600 grit won't take care of, and then you'll be right back to start, from ready to apply a brand new coat of paint. There are some kinds of paints out there that take longer to get off than others if it's been on there a long time. Some of the enamels are kind of stubborn. If it's got clear coat on it, that can be kind of stubborn, but you just gotta, you just have to let it sit, let it soak. It won't hurt the plastic leaving it in there too long, as far as from what I've seen. Obviously, if you left it in there a really long time, it could. But 24, 48 hours, maybe 3-4 days at the most is as long as it should take to get all that paint off there. You might have to, help it a little bit, like I said, with a brush, some of the more stubborn stuff. Rick O'Connor says he tried out the chrome spray and he really likes it. That's good, Rick. Good stuff, and it's cheap. I did all that trim on that Charger with that stuff, and it looks pretty darn close to using the bare metal foil or the the all-clad. So pretty happy with that. Like I said, I just decanted it and put it in my airbrush and masked it all off and sprayed it on like that. Galaxy Strangers asking about paint. Would like to see a segment on automotive urethane versus lacquer versus. I can do that. We've talked a little bit about paint before, but I'll cover that again in one of the upcoming episodes if you guys are interested in that. Caesar's asking about finishing compounds. What do you use for your car builds and getting the gloss finish? Let me grab them real quick of Caesar. These are just the brands that I happen to have here, but there's all kinds of different ones you can get. You just want to maybe get a polishing compound to start with, and then a medium, which is a sort of a spot finishing compound. That's what this 3M is. This is called Perfect It 3000, but you can find this in like Turtle Wax brand and other brands at your local, just about any automotive parts store will carry them. And then I finally have this super fine one, which is a swirl remover, which takes out the really super fine scratches that you wind up with after you've done all your other buffing, and makes it like a mirror. Then you want to top that whole thing off with a little bit of wax. You can use regular Meguiar's Gold, I call it, or they call it. It's their best wax. It's sort of a paste compound, but it dries clear. It doesn't leave that, the old type waxes used to leave that white residue left over that gets in the cracks and stuff. This stuff dries clear, so it doesn't do that. But the Meguiar's is where a lot of the show car model people are using on their finishes and everything to kind of top it all off. That helps it from getting fingerprints on it, and it actually helps repel some of the dust and everything that gets on the model. So, but like I said, these are what I use here. I plan on doing a future episode here of just taking a body. Won't be able to do it on the Chevy because I'm just going to paint that one primered, but on some car model I do in the future, I'm going to go through the entire process and show you guys what I've been doing, because a lot of people like the gloss finish that we're getting on these. You can, you're always going to get a little bit of dust and dirt in your paint no matter how clean of an area you have. And there's a step that I don't really show too much of here, but where you actually take some wet sandpaper and sand the clear down after you've let it dry for a couple days, and then I usually go with like 2 coats of clear, so I just make it extra thick because I'm going to buff on it and I don't want to go through it. If you go through, you're going to wind up with a dull spot that won't be able to polish out. It'll be into the paint. So I just put the extra coat. People have said, well, you don't need 2 coats. Well, you really don't. But if you're going to do a lot of polishing, which I often do, I do put 2 coats on, and that's the same thing I do on a real car, because you're even in real cars, when you paint them in a spray booth, they never come out where they're flawless. You're going to be polishing on it. The show cars especially, they'll spend like a week polishing it after it's been painted, and to get that really perfect paint job looking with beautiful gloss finish on it. And then you get rid of a lot of that texture that's in there too. That you see what we call that orange skin sort of look, and you can make it look really smooth. So I'll do an entire segment in the future here on showing how we wet sand that. Now I actually have an attachment for my Dremel tool here, and I'll show you that. You can get these if you bought the Dremel assortment. You'll get several of these little wool pads that they're compressed wool that come with the Dremel tool that has these little shanks that go with it. And you actually buff on the model just like you do a real car. You don't want to turn it at high speed, though. You turn it fairly slow. But let's say you get a little spot on the clear where, like on the top of the roof. You usually see it appear like on your flat surfaces, like the top of the roof, the hood, and the top of the deck lid is where you're going to see most of your dust accumulate if you get any in it. So you wet sand that down with like some 1500 or 2000 grit sandpaper, and then that sands down the little dust debris, and then you need to get it back where it's glossy again. So I just put a little bit of this Perfect It 3000 on there, a little spot, and I just put this in my little Dremel stylus, and I turn it on like the number 3 setting, and I just polish it out. I just just like you would on a real car, just buff it right out. And then once I get it to where it's got its basic gloss back, it's going to still have all the little sort of swirl marks in it. Then you take this same 3000 and you just put on a little soft, these are the type of towels you're supposed to use. These are called microfiber detailers towels. These are like a special towel that's really soft, and they're made for polishing. And you just polish that part by hand. Then you move up to the swirl remover, and always keep a separate rag for your fine compound versus your medium compound, because once that stuff is dry, it's actually abrasive and it's still in your towel. You're just going to be making new scratches, So when you go to the super fine compound, you want to make sure you have a really nice towel and you've only been using the fine compound on that towel, and then that will just hand buffing it out will get rid of all the little tiny micro scratches. and bring it to where it's got that beautiful luster, and then you top that off with a little coat of wax, and she'll look that way forever. I mean, especially if you use the automotive finish, the good stuff, it'll never go bad. It'll last longer than you will live, especially if you keep it indoors and everything, and it's really tough stuff. So, but like I said, we'll do an entire segment on that at some point in the future here and show you that whole thing step by step. Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit long here. Some of the people are starting to check out. See if I'm missing any more questions here. Somebody's asking about the adjustable chuck for the Dremel tool. You should be able to find those wherever they sell Dremel products. If they don't carry them at your local store, you can't find one, try eBay. I think I'm pretty sure that the chuck size, you know, on the Dremel itself is the same on all the Dremel tools. I could be wrong, but I think they are. So if you just get one, it's gonna fit your Dremel. But you know, check the notes on it just to be sure. It's been a couple years since I bought mine, and things could have changed. But yeah, that's a really, really handy little accessory to get for your Dremel. It makes it way easier than changing out that arbor every time you're changing to a different tip, which that used to drive me nuts. Lee Chambers says his monogram didn't come with the figures. Well, somebody had figures of some kind they were sticking in there, and they actually showed the figures in the instructions. So I guess some monogram kits do and some don't. Yeah, no hangout for me tonight, guys. In fact, it'd probably be a little while before I'll be able to do any hangouts. I've got stuff lined up that I've got to do after the show, and my wife has changed her work schedule. She's back on third shift now, so I'm spending a little bit of time with her before she goes to work. She has to sleep pretty much during the day, so that's going to kind of kill my my hangouts for a while here. But you guys are more than welcome to start a hangout and do your own. Just somebody can post it on the create the hangout and then post, put the link on the page on the Google thing, and I'll check it. And if somebody's going to do the hangout, I'll make sure and pin it to the top. That way, everybody that goes in there and looks can see it. And then after the hangout's over, like the next morning, I'll take it down so people don't keep clicking on it thinking that there's a hangout going on at that time. So, but like I said, you guys are more than welcome to have your own hangout. I know you guys really enjoy it. I enjoy it too, but my schedule has changed here a little bit. Mitch Gibbs, I think he's somebody that might be new. He says he's building the Sea View, and have I ever tried painting underwater tones like the way the light reacts underwater? No, I've never tried that, Mitch. That sounds interesting. So I guess what you're going to do is you're going to kind of paint the ripples of light like you would see reflecting on the top. I know exactly what you're talking about. That would look pretty cool. Mitch Seagrave says he's been building the TOS shuttle, and can we do a soundboard for that? Yeah, just send me an email, Mitch, what you're looking for. I've been a little bit behind on my soundboards. I've been busy keeping up with my commission build work here, which I've got a ton of it, and I can't afford to fall behind on that stuff. So between that and keeping the stuff here for the show every week, it's been hard to keep up with because I'm busy all around. So. But just send me an email, and if it's something not too complicated, I can probably knock it out fairly soon. Okay, guys, I think everyone wants to call it a wrap here. A lot of people signing off. I thank you guys for being here again with us this week. I really appreciate it. And I'll throw that little thread up there on the Model Shop Google page, and we'll see about possibly switching from Saturday nights to Sunday afternoons and see if that works out for the majority of people. If it does, we'll go with that, because that would actually be a little bit better for me, too. So you guys take care. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to leave us a like if you enjoyed what you saw tonight. We really would appreciate that. And that helps us out all around here for our sponsor and for what we're doing here. So the more people we get in, it's nice to see we get a couple new people, it seems like, every week that are joining us in our chat session. And those who can only watch the show on the replay, sorry you can't join us, but we still feel like you're part of our little family here. So we'll see you all next time, guys. You take care out there. Build something and have fun with your models. We'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.